Right, so Genshin have just announced the brand new banners for the 4.4 updates, and they're fairly alright. So we're going to be talking about in today's video what banners you should be pulling on based on your account and what you guys need. We're going to go into a little bit of detail about each of the characters and how good they are for your account. If you guys enjoy this kind of content and you want to support the channel, always feel free to sub. You know, we're on our way to 10,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys so much for the support in the last month on the channel. It has been absolutely brilliant. But let's get into it, because there's quite a lot we need to talk about. So, we got, on the first half, we have Nahida and Xianyun. I don't know how to pronounce the name. I'm really, really sorry if I butcher it. I've almost absolutely butchered it. Let me know in the comments how you pronounce it. I'm very, very sorry for pronouncing it wrong. And in the second half, we have Yae Miko and Xiao. Now, already looking at it, it's interesting. It's an interesting bunch. I thought it was going to be Xianyun and Shenhe because they got skins, and normally Hoyoverse does put the character that the skin, gets on the banners. But this time they just haven't, and we got Nahida and Yae Miko, which bit of a random selection. It doesn't really have much to do with the update, but go off, I guess. But anyway, so I'm using Farazan as an example because we don't actually have the new character yet. Now, she works a lot off of plunge attacks. Now, realistically, when you look at it in your Genshin account, how many characters are you using plunging attacks with? For me, maybe Kazuha with his ability, and then Xiao. But when it comes to all the other characters, Ayaka, obviously you're not going to be using plunging attacks, but every character still has their damage ratio, and for Ayaka, from a high plunge, it's comparable to her charge attack damage, which probably time-wise it takes a little bit longer to do the plunge attack. So I guess it's not, it is quote-unquote suboptimal DPS, but Xianyun is a bit of a niche in a way because it kind of changes how you can approach different bits of gameplay. Now, with her, I think it's going to be an interesting way to see how it goes because she is an Anemo healer. Now, but she also does a bit of damage as well with her skill and her burst damage, because whenever you plunge, she also does a little bit of extra damage, which means you could maybe do some swirl reactions with it. It's really depending. I think honestly, with the way that she's going to go, you'll probably be stacking a lot of HP, because I believe she scales off of HP. Okay, I've done a VAR check. I'm wrong. She scales off of attack. So for Xianyun, I think we're going to be building a bit of attack, maybe a little bit of EM, maybe even a very distant Vanilla set, because when we're doing our plunging, especially if the character's infused with an element already, it'll be doing swirl reactions, and that swirl reaction then gives them a damage, like a little resistance shred. Obviously, it won't be as good as a character like Kazuha or Venti, but in terms of the resistance shred, not the healing or anything. She might be a fun character, and I think she might be worth a pull. I think genuinely she is worth a pull, and it'll be a fun idea, especially compared to other ones. I mean, the only other must pull, sadly, is on the same cycle, and that is Nahida. Now, to be honest, people will say, Fred, you have an agenda against Nahida, and for the longest time, I did, probably because she's a child. But to be honest, she's actually pretty decent, and by decent, I mean very good. Now, to build her, it's quite simple. All you just really do is you just stack elemental mastery, So, for me, I've just put stack fragments on, but even then, it's quite free-to-play friendly because you can just use Map and Mare, or you can use Favonius Codex if you really are inclined. But I feel like for best results, you just stack sacrificial fragments on her, or anything with elemental mastery, and then for artifacts, you just put on a 4-piece Deep Wood Memories, and then try to get elemental mastery, bit more elemental mastery, and just even more, and then you just go for some other substats like energy recharge, and yeah, to be honest, all of her abilities scale off of a bit of attack and a bit of, but more so EM, and then she gives more elemental mastery to your active character, and then you also get a little bit of crit rate for her ability. And the way it works is you kind of you do this, then you turn your DPI up to the maximum, and then you hit every enemy, and then when one enemy gets a reaction, they all take damage from the same reaction, and it's kind of a bit busted, but it's very, very good. If you don't have Nahida, And we're discussing like whether or not you should pull, whether or not you should pull on the Xianyun banner or the Nahida banner. I think honestly, go for Nahida if you don't have her. It's just I say it's that simple, but I'd say 100% go for Nahida if you do not have her. If you already have Nahida and you're interested in Xianyun, go for Xianyun. I think she's going to be a fun character, especially with the plunging, a bit of exploration in there. She seems very, very decent. So for the first half of the update, Xianyun all the way. Now for the second half of the update, Yae Miko or Xiao. Now, these two characters, they're not bad. They're not bad characters. Xiao, I feel like, has fallen off a bit. And I don't even have Xiao, so I've got Haizu as a replacement for him. But the thing with Xiao is the fact that he does suffer from being an animo character. Now, inherently, that's not a bad thing being animo. But when it comes to the multipliers of other like reactions out there, for example, if we're looking like a Ganyu, like we're doing a melt, Ayaka we're doing melt, Hu Tao we're doing vaporize. You know, Navia's a bit of an exception, but you know we've got Raiden. I know she's not a DPS, but even then we'd be doing a bit of you have to do electrocharged. We can do quicken with Dendro. Same with Kaching. When we get to Xiao and he's animo, the only thing that Xiao can do is he just swirls, right? He can just swirl with other units, and that leads to like a bit of a weird problem. Well, it's not a problem. It's just that when it comes to doing reaction damage, we're going with more of his raw damage rather than the actual reaction itself. But luckily for all of us, Xiao's damage numbers are actually still quite high. In fact, they're actually still really, really good, and people still use Xiao to this day. Like he does less damage compared to the newest units, but that is just power creep in general. And overall, his gameplay is quite different because obviously you jump, you plunge, you jump, you plunge. Now, I know it's not my cup of tea personally, but to some people do just enjoy his playstyle. And he does actually have decent supports. Now, I believe Farazan will be on his banner because Farazan is an animo damage amp, which is why she works well with Scaramouche. And also, like, the simpler one, you can just use a Bennett. I don't know where my Bennett is. You just run a Bennett on him, and you already just see it because he loses HP when he uses his burst. Bennett will heal it back up. I mean, you can even stick a Farina with him as well now if you're so inclined, and then maybe a Zhongli for the shield. And overall, like, Xiao is still a very, very solid unit even to this day. And I wouldn't say he's the absolute must pull, but if you're interested in Xiao and you do like him, I feel like he still can do it. I feel like he still has it in him to be able to do a lot of damage. And then finally, Yae Miko, she's alright. When she first came out, I thought she was a bit mid. Because with all of this, like at the time, we didn't have Dendro, so the only thing was that it just did a lot of electrocharge damage. But with the presence of Nahida, with the presence of Dendro Traveler, even Al-Hytham, Yae Miko is a solid sub-DPS electro, like, she can apply electro. Now don't get me wrong, again, is Yae Miko a must-pull for applying electro? Not entirely, because we have Kuki Shinobu, and we have Fischl. So, it's really one of those premium characters that can do things other characters can do. Now, for Kuki, I know you have to be up close with them. Fischl works a bit better from a distance, but I think Yae Miko, like, her application is a little bit quicker. But overall, she is quite just a fun, like, unit you just put down your free, and then you can swap off, and then just do whatever. And I think that's not too bad. Would I say this is a must-pull? No, but her damage numbers aren't too bad, and it works quite nicely with other units. And honestly, if there's one thing I've learned in Genshin, is pulling for supports is really, really good. Now, if I had to like rank all of these based off of what, which banners to pull on the most, I'm going to say first off, Nahida. She's just very, very good. Second place, I'm going to go with Xianyun, only because she's new and she looks like she's going to be quite fun, and also with the plunging attacks and the healing, I feel like she can work quite well with other characters. And then third place, I'm going to go Yae Miko, only because I feel like she is a very, very solid support choice. And then fourth, I'm going to go Xiao. Not because I don't like Xiao. I do quite like Xiao. It's quite tough to put it between third and fourth. But I feel like there's definitely a lot better DPS characters out there. But his damage is still alright enough to say he's not a don't pull. You know, he's a pull if you like him. I'd say definitely try him out in a test run if you haven't already. When he comes out, I've just realised. So yeah, you just play him in the test run. You need to know if his gameplay style's for you. Personally, for me, it's a bit clunky, but there's a lot of people who do enjoy playing with his playstyle, and that is pretty cool. Let me down below, which banner are you guys going to pull on in the next update? I would actually like to know, because I'm not going to lie, I'm probably going to pull on the Xianyun banner and then dip until 4.5. Now, I will have a lovely day wherever you are. Take care, and I'll see you guys in another video very soon.